Hello everyone, welcome to Vishesh Educational Videos. In this video, I am explaining Bohm's spiral model, which is one of the important SDLC model that is used in software development process. Right? And the Bohm's spiral model uses incremental development approach. So in the previous video, I explained what is a incremental development approach. Just I will brief that once here. So in incremental development approach, you can see there the phases are not fixed, the phases are flexible. Here each feature of the particular software is going to develop in increments. That means one increment can be developed, two or more increments can be developed parallelly or concurrently, right? So if you want to know more about incremental approach, the link for that video is in the description section. So the spiral model is going to use the incremental development approach to develop the software, right? So let me start the explanation of spiral model. So as you all know, the process in a spiral model is represented as a spiral rather than the sequence of activities, right? So in waterfall model, you can see there the phases are sequenced. That means first phase, second phase, third phase, fourth phase. That like that only you have to follow, right? So first after from first step, next second step, next third step, like that. But in spiral model, it is not a case. So the activities are interleaved. Interleaved means parallelly you can develop the software. That means in increments. So first increment, next at the same time you can develop the second increment, at the same time you can develop the third increment, like that. Concurrently or parallelly you can develop. I will take the example, so you will come to know about that in more detail, right? So you can see here, so in a spiral model, the process is represented as spiral. Each phase in the spiral model is represented as loop. You can see, determine the objective, this is the one phase. Evaluate alternatives, this is the second phase. Verify the next level product, this is the one phase, right? So here each phase is represented like loop. You can see, I will take up the example, you will understand in a more better way. And one more important thing, the phases in the waterfall model is same in spiral model also. For example, here the name, technical name will change, that's all. The actual meaning of the phases will remain the same. For example, here determine objective is nothing but requirement collection, one and the same, right? Next, evaluate alternatives is the same as analysis. Develop is the same as implementation. Verify is same as testing. Only the technical words will change, that's all. The actual meaning of the phase remains the same. So the phases in waterfall model and the phases in the spiral model remains the same. Getting, guys? Next, so each loop in the spiral represents a phase in the process. I told you, each loop definitely it's going to represent each the phases in the spiral. You can see, right? So I will take up the example now. And no fixed phases such as specification or design, right? No fixed phases means you can choose any phase and you can start from any phase as you want. That is flexible, right? If you want to start with the design, you can start, it's your choice, there is no restrictions. But remember one thing, practically it's not a feasible approach, right? If you want to do a design, first you need to finish the specification. But theoretically it's possible, but practically if you start from specification then design, it is a good idea, right? But if you want, you can move, right? No fixed phases here. And risks. So what are the risks? That means what are the problems that will arise while developing the software? That problems or risks will be assessed and resolved throughout the process. That means when risk arrives, you are going to resolve that risk, then you are going to move forward, right? That's why errors will be reduced. In waterfall model, you have to do the testing only once, but in spiral model it's not a case. You have to do the testing for each increment. Each increment will be tested. That's why the errors will be reduced. Right, guys? So I will take up the example, you will understand that. So this is the diagram here. You can see here. So first phase is what? Determine the objective, alternatives and constraints. So objective setting means you have to find out the requirements. In simple words, objectives are nothing but the requirements. You have to find out the requirements, not only the requirements, some constraints. Constraints are conditions. Whatever the conditions that needs to be there to develop the software, that conditions also you need to identify in the first phase itself. See, this is the first phase. Getting, guys? What is the next phase? Risk assessment and reduction. I told you analysis. Risk assessment and reduction is same as the analysis. So you need you are going to do the analysis. So is it what are the risks that you can find out? You can find out that risk. Not only you can find out that risk, and you have to reduce that risk. Getting, guys? That is same as the analysis. And what is the next thing you can see here? So this is the second phase. You are going to see here risk analysis, risk analysis, risk analysis. You are going to repeat the phase for different increments also. Right? Getting, guys? Risk analysis should be done to the first increment also. Risk analysis should be done to the second increment also. Risk analysis should be done to the third increment also. Getting, guys? So that's why I told you each phase represents a loop here. Getting? I will take up the example, right? And next thing, development. Development is nothing but implementation. You are going to develop the software. Remember, you are not going to develop the whole software at a shot. You are going to develop the software as increments. That means small features. You will take up that and you will start developing that. Parallelly, 5 members can be allotted to develop increment 1. For example, 100 members are there. If 100 members were there, for 10 members for first increment, 10 members for second increment, 10 members for third increment, like that. So you can do the activities parallelly, concurrently, right? So development you will do. Validation means the same. Testing. That means you are going to test the each increment. See, here the testing is done for each increment. See. And one more important thing, analysis. While doing the analysis, you are going to use prototypes. You can ask a question, what is prototype? Prototype, you can see see here, while developing a diagram, while developing a house, what they will do, instead of blueprint, they will develop a model, right? So why? A blueprint also good idea only, but instead of blueprint, some of the engineers, they develop models. Models give better idea, right? That's why prototype is nothing but a model, dummy model of your software. Getting, guys? So you need that dummy model to do the analysis. That's why. Well, you need the dummy model to do the risk analysis, right? That's why. Next, you can see here simulations, models. I told you, right? Prototype means is nothing but model, right? Simulations means they will create that virtual environment. They will create the dummy software. They will show it to the customer. Once everything is okay, then they will start the development of increments, right? So I will give better idea about that in the coming sessions. Getting, guys? Now see, once the analysis is over, you can see product is designed. You can see product detailed design, low level design. See, once the design is over, you can see requirement validation. Validation is also, testing is also one and the same. Actually little bit difference is there, but so far you should understand that validation is nothing but testing. You can see you are doing integration testing, acceptance testing, different types of testings, right? So I will give that idea about that testing in the coming sessions. Getting, guys? See, so first you did the requirement collection, then you did the analysis, next you are going to do the development, and after that you are going to do the testing. But you are doing this for only one increment, that means in terms of increment you are doing, not for the whole software. So when you add all the increments, you will get the whole software. Getting, guys? Next, what is the next step? See, plan the next phase. The project is reviewed, the next phase of the spiral is planned. Next phase means, I told you, we'll take up the example. You will understand. Next phase means the first increment is ready. Next, you have to plan the second increment. Then you have to start collecting the requirements for the second increment. Next, again the step is repeated. Again, after the second increment, you have to plan the third increment. Again, you have to collect the requirements for the third increment, and so on. This process continues. So, getting, guys? Hope you understood the concept. So spiral model means it uses incremental development approach. Incremental development approach means here I'm not going to develop the software at a shot. I'm going to divide the software as increments, and I'm going to develop the increments one by one, parallelly or concurrently. And here in a spiral model, each phase is represented as spiral or a loop, and here each phase is flexible. That means you should sequencing is not there here. You can start from any phase. Flexibility is there here. Getting, guys? Right? So, and the phases in the waterfall model is same as the phases in the spiral. Sorry, phases in the spiral is same as the phases in the waterfall model. Only the technical terms will change. Getting, guys? And one more important thing, remember here each phase is going to be tested. In waterfall model, you are going to test the software model only once, but here it's not a case. You are going to test each phase, each increment, right, every time. Right, getting, guys? Next, so these are the phases: objective setting, risk assessment and reduction, development and validation, planning. So getting, guys? So I will take up the example now. Definitely you will understand in a more better way. So this is an example I am taking here. So here I am designing, assume that I am designing a railway ticket reservation system. So my railway ticket reservation system can do 3 tasks. You can ask a question, sir, I can develop this using a waterfall model also, right? Yes, in waterfall model also you can develop the railway ticket reservation system, but I have some advantages, right, if you use spiral model. That's why I'm using a spiral model here. So what are those? We will come to see now. So what are the features of this software? Book a ticket, cancel a ticket, and registration. So what I will do means, you can see book a ticket is one feature, right? I'm developing that feature as increment 1. See, for this feature, to develop this book a ticket feature, what is the first thing I have to do? I have to collect the requirements. So for a book a ticket, what can be the requirement? For book a ticket, you need customer name, right? You need customer address, you need customer credit card number, like that. So object identification means you have to identify that requirements for developing this feature. Say here object, this phase is a loop. Next, analysis, this phase is a loop. Analysis means you are going to do analysis. So is it possible to develop this increment within the particular time constraint? The cost, how much the cost it will right? Oh, what is the cost? So those things you will do in analysis. Risk, if any risks are there, you will identify that risk and try to reduce the risk. So see, analysis phase, this is on loop, this is on object identification, this is on loop. Getting, guys? See, book a ticket feature, here I am developing the first increments. Don't get confused. First increment I am developing. For that increment, I am collecting the object identifier, I am collecting the requirements, I am doing the analysis. For book a ticket feature, I am doing the design. For a book a ticket feature, I am doing the testing. Right? So this is the increment 1. But parallelly, I can develop the registration feature also as increment 2. At the same time, 5 members will be busy in developing this feature, and another 5 people will be busy in developing the registration feature. You can see same object identification applies to this also. Same analysis applies to second feature. Same design. Here you can see Parallelly they are doing the analysis for the second increment, parallelly they are doing the object identification for the second increment, parallelly they are doing the design for the second increment, parallelly they are doing the testing for the second increment. Concurrently they are doing, 5 people doing for first feature, 5 people doing for the second feature. In the same way, increment 3 can be also be developed parallelly. Remaining 5 people can do that. Same object identification they can do, same analysis they can do, same design they can do, same testing they can do. Getting, guys, parallelly they can do. You can see each phase represents the spiral here, loop here. And one more important thing I told you, book a ticket will be tested. Registration, again it will be tested. Increment 3, another feature, that is which one? Cancel a ticket, again that will be tested. You can see how many number of times I can do the testing here. See, 3 times I already did the testing here. But in waterfall model it was not a case. Only one time you are going to do the testing. So what happens here? If you do the testing so much number of time, so many number of time, what happens? So obviously the errors will be reduced, right? So getting, guys, so hope you understood the concept. Suppose if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section or please ping me, right? Right, next, advantages of spiral model. I told you software is produced early in the software life cycle. Yes, so you should not right, you should not wait until the entire increments are ready. No, first for increment 1 is ready in the early stages only, increment 2 next, increment 3, like that. So in the early stages you are going to get the software, right? Next, risk handling is one of the important advantages. Yes, you are going to do the risk handling, right? Risk, you will going to do the risk analysis, you are going to do the risk. So see, for each increment you are doing the risk reduction, right? Obviously the errors will be reduced, the error flow will be reduced, the errors won't flow to the next increments. Next, flexibility. Yes, flexibility, I told you we can easily change the requirements. Backtracking is possible here, iteration is possible here. If you want to make the changes, you can go back and you can make the changes. See, I told you backtracking is possible here, where in a spiral model you can just go back, and if you want to make changes you can do the changes. Backtracking is possible. If any number of changes, no problem, you can go back, you can do backtracking, you can go back and you can do the changes. That is main advantage of the spiral model. In waterfall model it was not a case, you have to freeze the requirements there. Next, waterfall model was suitable for only simple projects, but this spiral model can be good for large and complex projects. And also it is good for customer satisfaction. Why means we can involve the customers in the development of the product or the early phase of this software development, right? So after the for example, after the development of increment 1, I can show that increment 1 to the customer and I can take his feedback. After the development of increment 2, I can show that to the customer, again I can take the feedback of the increment 2. See, so I'm giving the exposure of the software product to the customer at an early stage only. That's the advantage here. Next, strong approval. Obviously if a customer agree, right, about the increment 1 only, we will proceed to the increment 2, right? That's why, so we can get the approval of the customer here, strong approval. And we can develop the documentation in each phase, it is possible. Documentation for incrementation is also possible, documentation for increment 2 is also possible. So lot of documentation can be produced here. Documentation means like user manuals. Next, obviously it is suitable for high risk projects, because here we do risk analysis, right? We try to reduce the risks, right? So obviously even if risk comes also, no problem, this spiral model is suitable for high risk projects. Getting, guys? Next, disadvantages. Not only the advantages, spiral model have some disadvantages also. Obviously it is not suitable for small projects, because this is expensive, because whatever the changes, so when there is a lot of changes only you have to choose this, otherwise For small projects, waterfall model is best, right? Otherwise it will become expensive, right? And it is much more complex than other SDLC model. So obviously the complexity of spiral model is more compared to the waterfall model. Getting, guys? So that is the disadvantage. And risk analysis, we are too much dependable on risk analysis we are. And risk analysis, for doing the risk analysis, we need some expert people. So we need expert people means we need to pay more. Cost will be more. That's why. So that's the problem here. Next, time management. So time management will be difficult here because as the number of phases is unknown, I don't know. So adding the increments may go on indefinitely. Customer may go on telling about the new features, right? So time management will become difficult here. It will be difficult, right? And spiral may go on indefinitely. I told you, indefinitely, time management will become difficult here. So I'm not sure when it's going to end here. Yes, parallelly I'm doing it, but if increment 2 is ready, but if increment 1 is not ready, then it will be a problem, right? That's why. So it may go on indefinitely. And end of the project, I have told you, may not known early, obviously, right? And if there are lower risk in the project, this is not suitable. Waterfall model is suitable. And collecting the objective, collecting the constraints will be difficult because this model is suitable for complex project, right? Obviously for complex project the amount of requirements will be high. That's why. So it will be hard to collect the requirements, hard to define the objects. And obviously documentation will be more, right? Obviously if more documentation means maintenance will be more. That's why. That is the problem if you are using a spiral model, right, guys? So hope you understood the concepts. So if you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video.